Show, Peter G. Show, Peter G. Show, Peter G. Show. Divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G. Show.
Oh, Peter G. Show, Peter G. Show. Sunday night, Peter G. Show. And another week gone by. Man, time just flies. I don't understand it. I'm starting to really lose the plot when it comes to how fast time is flying. Anyway, how the hell is everybody? We're going to take a minute like we always do. We're going to get things booted up and get people kind of comfortable. A lot of stuff going on. Got something going on tonight. We're going to talk about that I felt a few people had some concerns, and there's a couple of things we're going to talk about. There's a lot of things. It never ends. The week goes by, and I can't say this enough about you people. Constantly. Last night, again, saw somebody bitching, and I said, "What's your deal?" And she says, "Oh, you don't know, Peter." She said, "I was going to call you 3 times during your show last week, but I just couldn't do it." It's like, I don't get it. You know, they're going to take the phone number away from me because of, I don't get it. You're bitching about how angry you are or this and that on Facebook, and even though you don't say something, some people don't, a lot of people do, even though you don't say something, you're saying that there's something going on with you. The beauty of this show is it's like, just because you're watching the show or you're a fan of the show, when you call that number, 818-259-7983, nobody knows it's you. You're Joe Blow. You're Susie Crocker. Whatever the hell her name was, Betty. You know what I mean? It's like, then you can spew your guts. That's right. Then you can tell everybody. Anyway, I'll get back to that again. We're just picking up momentum. Tonight's going to be a pretty good night. Tonight's going to be some informative stuff for people who need to hear this kind of stuff. It's just the way it is. All right? Couple things. Back again. My live feed on the official Peter G. Show page, I'm getting ready to shoot myself because I don't understand it. I even went digging to think maybe they're telling me a bunch of bullshit that, why we can't send the live feed to the main official show. Because with Facebook, it's funky. I have to do it from a different area and then send it to my live feed. But I don't know what's going on. They can't get it to work yet. Not only for me, they claim for all their other providers. They got to be getting close to going out of business because this is week number 5, people, and it's driving me friggin' batshit crazy. I'm just getting nuts with this because it's my main page. It's like, I explained it last week. It's like having a restaurant and your front door's closed. And say, but, come around the side and we'll serve you through the window. It's like, wonderful. Wonderful. Anyway, a lot to talk about today. I apologize, people, again, for those who aren't catching I'm telling people on the main official show page to, come to the Peter Gisellas page and its public page. You can watch it from there, but, for temporary. But for those who just miss it and are catching it after the fact and saying, WTF, I'm sorry. It's out of my hands. I'm I'm trying not to be a nag with these people, but it's important because it's affecting my business. I know it's got to be affecting theirs, but I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. I don't, because it's like, this is what you do, and you're supposed to provide me with a way to stream, and you're not able to do that. So what the hell? I can see a week, 2 weeks, because you're waiting on Facebook to get it together, but this is week number 5. So I'm starting to go a little bit, growing a little bit impatient, and it's bothering me. But anyway, I apologize, and we'll get there. Just bear with me, all right? In the meantime, once again, I could not do this. Hang on one second. I want everybody to start doing watch parties. Watch party is what this show is all about, watch party. Watch parties could not be done enough for this show. That's how we're building this whole thing, watch parties. It's all about the watch party. Why? Because the watch party, hey, you know what I just realized? Oh, boy. Let's see if we got it going here. Is it going? Let's listen in. Peter forgot to pipe in a little bit of background music. I kind of like background music. Kind of smooths things out. Listen to that. I mean, it just helps the flow. It's like listening to water in the background or something. I don't know. Anyway, tonight, as always, for now, as always, couldn't be here without my beloved Bolt Energy. Bolt Energy, people ask for it in stores. Why Bolt Energy? Number one, I think it tastes great, and no preservatives, all right? No preservatives. It's enriched with vitamins and antioxidants. These guys wanted to develop a cleaner energy drink, and they did. And they're workout fanatics. It doesn't come in a 40 million ounce can. It's just that moderate size can that just gives you enough of what you need to get you going. All right, and I can vouch for that, and so can some many other people. But ask for it in stores, Bolt Energy. If you can't find Bolt Energy because they are new and they are growing, it's not all over the place, but they're working on it. If you can't find Bolt Energy, just go to www.drinkboltenergy. Write to them. They will tell you, all right? They're really good about getting back to you and stuff like that because they're on it, people. And you know what? I respect a company that's got their act together, that, you know, they're in tune with the crowd because it's all about the crowd. It's not about them. They said, you know, that takes a lot of guts. I mean, there's 90 million energy drinks out there that, you know, it's like, why add another one? Because they feel they got something different, all right? So Bolt Energy. Do it. I'm going to pop the can right now like I always do. Listen. Ah. Oh, yeah. All right, cheers. Love you guys. And all my after watchers and after thinkers. I'm going to get you sooner or later. I promise, because I'm not, you know, we're not going away. But it's amazing how everybody talks to me after the show, but yet when it comes to be showtime, you just sit there and, you know, watch. Bunch of lurkers. I love you, but I want participation. Here we go. Bolt Energy, Peter G Show, and you guys. Oh, holy crap, that's good. Really cold. I like it really cold. I like everything. I like cold beer and cold drinks. I don't like hot stuff. This stuff tastes good, people. Love it. Glows too. If you're fancy schmancy bartender and you got black lights under your bar and this and that, and you pour in this stuff, it's got a nice glow effect. You know, he was wanting me to like get a black light in here and show you the effect. and my crew said, "Oh hell no, you're not spilling that shit all over the place." It's no, you know, not shit, but you're not spilling it all over the place because they know me, Mr. Butterfingers. Anyway, Bolt Energy. So tonight, oh wait, there's more. Today I'm sitting, I can't believe, you know, how times have changed and all that. So today I'm sitting with my daughter, we're on the couch, and it's just so corny. It's the new joke. I mean, I saw this joke that said, hey, I'm going to have a dinner party. I want everybody to come to the dinner party, and I want everybody to bring their phones, and we can all look down at our phones. Well, sitting on the couch this afternoon, and we're both. I'm sitting like inches away from her. We're just sitting close. We're just talking, you know, hanging out. I love my daughter, you know, beyond words. And it was just, I had some time, and we're just chilling because she helped me do a few things this morning, and she's sitting there, and I'm sitting there, and we're both looking down at our phones, and this is going on and on for 30, 40 minutes. And I looked at her and I go, "You want to turn the TV on or something like that?" She goes, "No, I'm good." I said, "Okay." And we're both back down on our phones. And it's just like, welcome to the new age. We're just sitting there having a phone. I said, "Hey, tomorrow night, you want to come over and we can sit together again and we can both look down at our phones for 2 hours?" And she said, "Yeah." It just is what it is. Anyway, but I'll take it because we were there. At least we were there. And believe me, nowadays as she's getting older, it's getting harder because she's busy. I get that too. I was busy. Anyway, all right. I see some people starting to post a lot and things like that. Here's what we're doing tonight, people. Tonight we're going to talk about, I got somebody wanting to talk about, she's been on me for a while and we're finally getting it together, but we're going to talk about family law because for some reason I think she may have gotten the short end of the stick, and she said, "One day I want to come on your show and I want to talk about it." Well, that one day is today, and I want to see what's going on with her. I'm not really sure what the deal is. Again, some people, you know, we'll talk about it because one thing, unfortunately, I'm semi-experienced in is that, you know, kids, divorces. Now, again, this show is all about, you know, anything you want to talk about, but you want to get back into the original ballpark that we started with several years ago, I'm in, because there's plenty of people who need to hear this stuff. There's no doubt about it. I don't think I could talk about it enough and reach enough people, because there's so many people, 67% of the nation, that goes through all this crap. So, there's no winners or losers. I mean, I think everybody loses, but that's what it's going to take. Anyway, I see people scrolling and writing, but I cannot keep up because things are moving faster than I want to move. And we'll have to catch up with that afterwards. Right now, I think pretty soon I'm going to give it a call and make sure do I have everything? You tuned her up? All right. Tonight. Oh, real quick, one more thing. We'll talk about that later. All right, I got so many things to talk about. It can never end. All right, I think what we're going to do is we're going to get into this and see where we go from here and take it from that. Okay, here we go. So let's see what's going on. Oh yeah, one ringy dingy. I call myself because I don't feel like keeping people on hold, and that way I just figure what the hell.
Hello,
Gwen.
yes.
Hey, it's Peter G. How are you?
Good.
Good. Can you hear me good?
I sure can.
Good. We can hear you good, too. Okay, on the phone, I have Gwen, and you're on the West Coast, correct?
Correct.
Okay, cool. And she's been talking to me wrote to me months ago about something that was just kind of bugging her, and I just jotted it down on a piece of paper. I said, okay, we need to talk about this one day, and this one day is today, right?
It is.
It is. So give me a real quick thing, because it's been a while. Tell my people what it is that's on your plate, that's been bugging you, that you want to get off your chest, because it's that's tonight's topic. What is tonight's topic? Featuring you.
All right. So about 4.5 years ago, I filed a complaint to the judicial system against my mediator and my judge due to a very biased court decision they made. And so a year and a half ago was my first time back in front of them, so they took my son away from me because I filed a complaint against them.
Okay, so let's back it up a little bit more. You're divorced?
Correct.
Okay, and you have a child? How many children do you have?
I have one that's in this custody case.
Okay, so how long were you married for?
About 2 years.
Okay, and you had a child with that person?
Correct.
So how old is that child now?
He is now 10 as of a couple weeks ago.
Okay, so you went to court for divorce and custody when you went?
Correct.
Okay, and how did that go in the beginning?
At the very beginning, I had a restraining order against my ex-husband for domestic violence because he almost broke my hand.
Okay.
And I was given sole custody of my son. And then when it went into the family law court out of the domestic violence court, I made the mistake of saying my son needs to see his father, because I do believe he needed to be around his father.
That's true.
But because I gave my ex-husband some custody back, I was told then that I must not feel he's that dangerous if I feel it's okay for my son to be around him. And so from then on, I started losing more and more custody of my son.
See, this is where it's a can of worms when you go into court, because you got to have other people fight, referee your battles, because, you can't do it civilly. And you go in and, okay, so you look, the problem that goes on between you and your ex, man or woman, whichever, is different than the relationship between your child and your ex. And so you realized that, and you said, okay,
correct,
we're having problems, but he still needs to have that balance. There's no reason why he shouldn't see his son or daughter, because that's, he's okay, Dad. We just suck between us. Is that correct?
He was not an okay dad, but he wasn't a horrible father.
Okay. That's, you know what, in this day and age, it's kind of acceptable. I mean, it's great if you can be the full-on guy or girl, but there's, but your children need balance. Although they can live without it, It's just kind of nice to if you have both parties that realize that, you know what, I brought them into this world, I should try to, mentor and or lead. Okay. So, all right. So, I mean, how many years are we into this whole deal?
As of now, 8 years.
And you've been fighting for how long?
8 years.
Oh my God. Hang on a minute. I'm going to take a... Now you're making me thirsty. Okay. How's your son doing with all this?
He's not doing well at all.
See, this is the problem. It's bad enough you got to go through hell bickering with the other end, but then the kids get caught in the middle, and they're just like all the shit's flowing downhill right onto them.
It is.
Wow. Yeah. I haven't. I mean, as much as I see this, it's like every time it's like the first time again for me, because I just hate it because they're the ones who are suffering. So okay. So now you're fighting the court system. The court system. Now you being a woman. Because, again, me being a guy, I thought I was going to get reamed because so many guys feel that way. How the hell do you lose custody? I mean, it takes a lot. What's going on with you? And be honest with me. I mean, there's good men and women. I appreciate you having the guts to come on here, but, there's got to be something in there for them to go, okay, you're going to start losing. I mean, tell me.
Well, I have a very biased judge that feels like it's his job to undo all the wrongs that have been done to fathers.
That's great.
That's the number one issue. And I 100% agree that a lot of fathers have been done unjustly.
A lot have, yeah.
Because, for the most part, our system has always been the mother automatically gets the children no matter what. It's very hard to get the children away from the mother no matter what she does. The fathers are always weekend fathers.
Right. Which sucks.
I totally agree with that. It should be just 50-50 down the board unless one parent is just unfit.
Yeah, unless there's something wrong. I mean, it should be that way. It doesn't always work that way because I got many prime examples of amazing fathers that just got the shitty end of the stick, and and because there's crappy women out there too. There's crappy men, there's crappy women, but yeah,
definitely.
Typically, guys get the wrong end. So when I hear a woman, that's what really got me with you. Is that when I hear a woman saying, "Hey, there's something going on," it's very few and far between. So that's why I said, "Okay, we need to talk."
Right. So, there was domestic violence, which is why I ended up leaving him.
Okay.
At the beginning, I had primary custody. It ended up going to 50-50. There was an unfair judgment made, which in the end, it ended up not being the end of the world. Okay. The biggest judgment was just that because my ex-husband didn't want to be around me, so the judge ordered that only the custodial parent could be at my child's activities during those activities.
What kind of activities?
Which I felt was very unfair to my son, because why can't the two of us be adults and be civil with each other during my child's activities?
Like at school?
Exactly. Like if he's in an extracurricular activity, like he did cross country, so only whoever had him during that custodial time could go watch his meet.
That sucks.
If he had a school play, if for his kindergarten graduation, only the custodial parent of that day could go to his kindergarten graduation.
See, now that's really messed up because what are they thinking? Doesn't your child want you to watch them? Watch me, Dad. Watch me, Mom. You know what I mean?
Yes. And so that's when I filed a complaint against my judge and my mediator.
Who did you file it to?
Because I filed the complaint to the mediator, to my mediator's boss, and then for the judge, it was whoever was in charge of whoever, like the judicial. I went online to find out how you file a complaint against the judge.
Because now you're really pissing them off.
So, which was my legal right to do.
Yes, but you're really pissing them off.
My problem was I was about 6 months out of brain surgery. I had a brain tumor removed, so my filter was turned off as far as my emotional filter, and I let my emotions get the better of me.
That happens a lot. I mean, in court, that's your biggest mistake is to go off in court. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And that's what hurt me. And then my ex-husband and I started getting along. I stopped fighting with him. I just said, I'm done. This is what the order is. I never want to go back to court. We start getting along. I had emails from him asking to get rid of the Our Family Wizard because we were getting along so well.
I forgot all about that.
We would have issues once in a while, but I just learned to not engage with him anymore with the issues.
Right.
I let him vent. It was on the Our Family Wizard. I stopped using the Our Family Wizard because he asked me to. Things were fine. He had a girlfriend. They ended up breaking up when my son came to me for my week. Went back. He had a new girlfriend that my son met a week after the other girlfriend. This girlfriend moved in right away. My son started acting out, withdrawing. He was 8 years old at the time.
I know, but that's stupid on his part. You just don't do that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You don't do that.
So my son drew a picture of boobs and a penis and wrote boobs and sex on this eraser. And at 8 years old, he was coming home telling me stories of what he was seeing and hearing at Dad's house. So I was concerned.
Yeah, I would.
I have older daughters, and at this point, my girls were all either 17 or adults. So I never raised a young boy. I have a brother. I understand kids act out differently. I sought out help saying, I don't know if this is something I should be concerned about, if this is normal behavior.
No.
What the deal is, what I didn't know. So,
stupid.
And because of issues that I'd had with my ex-husband of why I left him, which pornography was one of the issues, I went to CPS and I said, there's been allegations of abuse in the past. I need to know if this is something I need to be concerned about.
Right.
So they advised me they wouldn't open up the case because my home was safe.
Mm-hmm.
So he still had a safe parent, so they would not get involved. They told me I had to file an ex parte hearing, get immediate change of custody, and put my son in counseling. I filed the ex parte hearing, signed my son up for counseling. We went to the ex parte hearing. I told our judge I was putting my son in counseling per CPS, which, if people don't know what that means, it's Child Protective Services.
Yeah.
My ex-husband did not say a word about it, did not say no. The judge said, okay. I did not know I needed to have it court-ordered for my son to go into counseling. When we left the ex parte hearing, nothing changed for the custody. We were just set for mediation and a new court date. My son went to counseling. Dad objected to him going to counseling. I lost legal custody.
How's that?
Because I put him in counseling against Dad's wishes.
Oh.
My son told the therapist that he was scared of his dad because his dad hit him. The therapist did not write it down in his chart. I had an email back and forth communication from the therapist where he acknowledged that my son said this, but did not feel it warranted a CPS call, even though he was a mandated reporter. So then my mediator for our custody said I made it up.
See,
it refused to look at the communication between me and the therapist.
They never read shit. And the thing is, and these these therapists and stuff like that, they'll tell you one thing to your face, and by the time they write it in a letter to the judge, they water it down. They really play middle of the road, and it really sucks.
Well, he deleted it from my son's record, so that the conversation never happened, even though I had email communication from him about it.
Did you have a lawyer?
Unfortunately, I did not, because I could not afford it.
No, I get that too, believe me. But see, this is the point where, like, a lawyer would make sure that got shown into court. It's like it's right there. And then you still worry, will the judge actually read the damn thing? But if you get a lawyer, he'll push hard enough for thousands of dollars, you can get it pushed through. Mm-hmm. I get it. I totally get it.
So then we had a bunch of false CPS calls come through that some were against my ex-husband, some were against me. It was like a 50-50 thing. My ex said it had to be me doing it because I was trying to get him in trouble. And I said, These are the times I did call CPS. I always gave my name. Yeah. These other calls are not me. I know when you have our son. Why would I call CPS when he's with me, make an accusation against you?
Well, here's the deal.
Makes no sense.
Wait a minute, but here's the deal. You have to talk to your ex and go, look, get your head in the right place. Your son is seeing you bring a new mommy, new girlfriend. It's like, come on, the kid's a child. It's like, that's the thing. It's like, you think that's smart to bring some new girl, and this is daddy's new girl. That's selfishness. It's just pure friggin' selfish shit. And it's like, it's like when you have your child, the girl stays out of the picture. What you do during your time is your business. But when you have that child, if you give a shit about your child, you don't be bringing them home and she's spending the night and the walls are banging and all kinds of stuff like that. There's the problem right there. There's the conversation you need to have with him. It's like, look what you're doing to him. And that's it. There's a lot of stupid guys out there. I've heard this story so many times. It's like, this is a major, major problem. And that's the only conversation you need to have with him to get it through his head that you're screwing him up. Just do what you want to do when he's not around, but when he's around, you need to be dad. And it needs to be him and dad. That's it.
You would think.
You would think, but that's the conversation to keep you out of court,
But I had that conversation, and that's what took us to court.
And what, he thought
and that's why I lost my son.
He thought it's perfectly okay to be bringing girls home while his son's there?
The mediator said there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Well,
and the judge said there's nothing wrong with that, and that I was working over nothing. And when we went back to court, and because the CPS calls increased at this point, because we were told that CPS calls continued, I would lose custody of my son. Not my ex-husband. I would lose custody.
Based on what?
The CPS calls increased because the mediator believed I was responsible for them. So the CPS calls increased.
Well, who's calling the call? Who's making the calls?
Oh, I believe it's from his new girlfriend and her family.
Why would they do
that?
Because
as soon as the mediator said that if the calls continued, I would lose custody.
So you thought
the calls increased. Okay. We went back to court, and then I went to every other weekend with my son.
But don't they have to verify who's making these calls?
You would think.
Yes. I mean,
they said they can't prove that it's me, but they think it's more likely than not that it is me.
Nowadays, with call records and things like that, I mean, Jesus, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? It's a caller ID.
So that was their excuse.
Well,
that it's more likely than not me making the calls. So then I was ordered to do a psych eval.
Okay.
I did the psych eval. I passed it no problem.
Sure.
And I said, I want him to do a psych eval. If I'm ordered to do one, he should have to too. Let's see who's really being truthful here. They said, no, he doesn't need one. You do.
Wow.
Anytime I was told to do something, I did it.
Yeah, I
know.
So
when I passed the psych eval and more calls came into CPS, we went back to court. So then... for those who maybe don't know, I live in Ventura County, California, where we had the huge Thomas fires 2 years ago. We had hundreds of thousands of acres destroyed. I lived blocks away from the fires.
Okay.
My son has asthma. Dad refuses to acknowledge that my son has asthma. He took me to court saying I refuse to take my son to Taekwondo during my time. The studio was closed. Couldn't take him. Because everything in Ventura was closed.
Well, this sounds like pretty simple, straight. I mean, and the courts would know that because they live there.
Okay, I had to take my son to urgent care 3 times because he was having such severe breathing problems. He was prescribed an inhaler, but one of the medicines he was prescribed was an over-the-counter. So therefore, the mediator said that it was not a true medical emergency, and I had no right to take him to urgent care when I had legal custody. So then I was given supervised visits.
You know, this sounds like this is the kind of shit that just sounds like adult nonsense. It's like if you're, what's the difference? I mean, if he can't breathe, you took him to urgent care or whatever. It's like, okay, and there was fires.
But I didn't have, because Dad said he wasn't that sick, and I was just purposely taking him in for attention and whatever else. And he says he does not have asthma, even though I have medical records from the time he was 3 years old, where he had been diagnosed with asthma, where he had had over 30 ear infections, where he had already had bronchitis 4 times, and he'd already had pneumonia.
Okay, but the thing is now you have a child that's getting older, and you said he's 10 now? Is that how old he is?
He is 10 now.
Okay, so he's
10, yes.
He's getting right about that age where he's going to be able to speak for himself. I mean, because I had to go to a mediation, and there was a point where they wanted my daughter, and she was young, and I hated having to make her go and talk to a doctor, or, mediator, or whatever you want to call it. But there comes a point where it's like talk to him. It's like let him speak.
My son did talk to the mediator.
And?
Told the mediator he did not want to live with his dad. He wanted his dad in counseling, and he wanted to live with me and visit his dad sometimes. That's when they said I must have told him to say that.
Well, you know what?
And that was another reason why they gave me supervised visits.
Well, again, these people are professionals, supposedly. They should know whether a child is being told to say something or whether he's really doing something. I mean, it's just pretty simple. And I hated all that crap. I really did. But this is what happens when you can't manage your own life between you and your ex, and then you have to have these people step in and they see you for 20 minutes, they read a couple of pages of papers, and then they just start going on their, depending on what day it is and what mood they're in, and this is what happens. And it's really hard to unfix this stuff. Real hard.
Yep.
You know?
I did an evidentiary hearing because of all that, because obviously I'm not going to just accept having supervised visits where I'm paying $600 a month to see my son 2 hours a week. So I did the evidentiary hearing. My ex-husband's older son testified against him, saying that he no longer visits his dad because of how abusive his dad is, and I was still found guilty of making up abuse.
I don't get this. I mean, I really, because like I said, and again, I'm pro women, pro men. I'm not trying to beat on a guy. It's just, you are who you are and you get what you get with me, and that's where I'm going to ask you. So I'm going to ask you again, like with you, you had a tumor and you've gone through a lot of stuff, but I mean, you've admitted that you've lashed out because, emotions run high, and I'm that guy. Believe me, I wish my mouth would shut the hell up. Because sometimes, and I blew it a couple of times in court back in my past, but I get it. But I mean, in general, you as a person, and be honest with me and be honest with yourself.
I will.
Are you a little nutty, or are you pretty much together?
I think I'm pretty much together. Even the judge admitted on the stand saying this is a very odd case because there's been no allegations of abuse against me. I've never been accused of physical abuse. I've never been. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't party. I don't do anything. He said this is an odd case where he's never done a ruling like this, but he feels that I'm still a danger to my son because him being with me, drama continues with my son, and the only thing that has kept CPS from interviewing my son is me not seeing him.
So they think you're overdramatic, that you're just blowing everything out of proportion. Is that correct?
Correct.
Wow.
And they feel that's enough reason for me to lose custody of my son when people have testified against my ex-husband to the physical abuse they've witnessed him do. I had medical documentation of his girlfriend. They're not even married. His girlfriend calling my son's doctors, giving her name, saying she's his mom to get his medical records. When I did still get custody of my son and still have visitation with my son, I would take him to Taekwondo, and I was asked if I was the new babysitter. And I'm like, no, I'm his mom. They're like, no, Judy's his mom.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, no, that's Dad's girlfriend.
Yeah,
we were told that's his mom.
And then she disappears, and then there's a new one. Believe me, I've seen this crap way too much, and that's why some guys really need a good slap in the head, because guys are I've seen women like that too, but guys are probably worse than women when it comes to that. It's just like their new girlfriend, and all of a sudden they just jump. Everybody jumps way too fast. I take that back. It's probably equal. There's a lot of women that are just like that too. They jump out of the frying pan.
There's a lot of women that do it.
Tons of it. And all of a sudden, new boyfriend, and like it's okay, and the kids come over, and they're sleeping together, and it sucks. It screws a kid's head up so badly. I mean, I've watched it. I've been in this long enough now that it's like I never liked that scenario. To me, that is the worst thing you can do for your kids, is be introducing new boys, women, or men to a relationship. I stayed out of everything purposely just to let her get older. Because I just saw too much damage on that. So now where do we go from here?
I'm at a loss. I have an attorney who's willing to review my case.
Yeah.
And try and get the mediator removed and at least try and get me some of my visitation back. But it's going to cost me at least another $6,000 to $7,000 just to even consider going back in front of a judge. Because the judge said, when my son's older, which he didn't give an age, that we can reevaluate based on what my son wants. But my son even tells me Mommy, Daddy says that I can never come back to live with you. Daddy says it's because you keep calling the police on us. Daddy says he's not going to do my braces if I live with you. And the only way I get to have braces is if I stay living with him. Daddy says this.
Does he
Daddy
need braces?
says this. Yes. But my insurance will cover it within 2 years
Yeah.
at 100% no cost. And it's not that he needs them urgently other than for appearance sake.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if he waits 2 years, he'll wear braces for 3 years. If he does them now, he's going to wear them for 5 years.
He's only 10. He's still got teeth falling out, no?
Exactly.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about that crap. Not now.
Well,
That's one thing that can always be fixed. I really wouldn't worry about
That's
that.
what I said.
Unless he's got, like, Billy Bob teeth.
He has one front tooth that's bad, but my ex-husband said he's getting teased at school. I asked him, I said, does anybody tease you about your teeth? He's like, no, nobody cares.
Did he lose it yet? Or is that a tooth that's come in? Or
It's a permanent.
Okay.
It's a permanent because he wouldn't pull out the baby tooth, so the permanent came in crooked. It's not the end of the world. It's not. I mean, I don't mind the braces.
You can fix all that crap later. It doesn't matter. You can fix it when you're 50. You know?
It's not anything medically that needs to be done right away.
Right.
And even if we did it now, my ex chose the most expensive orthodontist to go to. Well, I found an amazing orthodontist who did the braces on my older kids, who was half the price.
Tell him it's character. It builds character. It's a character mark. It's like he'll be all right. He'll be all right. If he's not worried about it, I wouldn't worry about it right now. He
wants the braces, and I told him, I said, first of all, whether you live with me or whether you live with Dad, you're going to get braces.
Yeah.
Don't even stress over that. We're going to get your teeth fixed. It's not a big deal. Wherever you live, you're going to get them done. So if you're worried about that, don't.
Well, look, hang on one second. If anybody wants to talk to Gwen, 818-259-7983, I'll take a phone call and we'll let you talk to her directly. Well, she's got a problem. I don't understand this. I mean, I do understand this, and it's nonsense. It really is. When you really take a look at the big picture, the he said, she said, this is the typical bullshit, and who gets caught in the middle with all the crap running downhill, and it's your child. But I mean, I guarantee you, because I got people that are texting and writing on my screens about this, and it's just they've all been there. A lot of but here you are. What is your current percentage of custody again?
I get to see my son 2 hours a week. Where I have to pay $150 to a supervisor.
That's insane. That's business.
Yep,
that's business. 2 hours a week,
and the supervisor says it's ridiculous that I'm the one that should have sole custody of my son and the dad should have supervised.
Well, I don't get this. Everybody's saying this, but nobody's doing it. To me, there's got to be something missing to this puzzle here, because
the supervisor wrote a letter for our hearing saying that there's absolutely no reason for me to have supervised visits.
Yeah.
And the judge said she wasn't around long enough. She didn't know us long enough to be able to make that decision.
How much money are you paying? You got to pay them to be there. What do you do?
$150 a visit.
What do you do for 2 hours with a babysitter under your ass?
We watch a movie. We do a puzzle.
Will they come to your house? I don't get it.
No, I have to go to an office. While I'm waiting, doing my visit, people are outside waiting to come in to do their drug classes.
Oh, that's nice.
And
What's
their prison classes.
Is that like Cornerstone or something like that?
It's a similar type of program, yeah.
It's such a friggin' racket, man. It's such a friggin' racket. I hate it. I just hate it.
My supervisor's amazing. She's super sweet.
That's
She's
cool.
very kind to my son.
Yeah.
And, I was very angry the first couple times I went there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't directed at her.
No.
But it was more the fact that here I'm having to hang out with drug addicts and people that lost their kids because they were abusing their children.
Right.
And I'm like, how is this fair or right?
I take it. I want to take it back because it's like, I said it's a racket. It's like, God bless the people who do that job and they do care, but it's the courts and it's just this row of like, you're going to go down this road and you're going to pay and you're going to go down this road and and we're just going to run you through a friggin' financial ringer until you and if you survive, then maybe you might see the light of day. I just friggin' hate it because, believe me, I got sent down those roads too, and it was all just nonsense. I'm sitting there with my arms crossed, and they're reading your body language, and I'm going, this is stupid. I mean, I'm fighting to be a father. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
It's like stupid. Oh, my God, I'm so sorry. But, I'm more sorry for your child because your child is like, you're an adult. Believe me, you've seen enough, you've done enough. You'll get over it, regardless how many gray hairs you may gain or lose, at least for me. But it's like, it's your child. He deserves to be a child. He's 10.
Exactly.
Mm.
I mean, he has 3 adult sisters on my side and that are super close with him. He doesn't get to see or talk to them anymore. I have 12 nieces and nephews that he doesn't get to see. My 5-year-old niece was killed in a tragic car accident a month and a half ago. I'm not even allowed to tell him about it.
Did he know her? Was he close with her?
Yes. All of the kids grew up together.
What do you mean
we
what
all
do you
live
mean
in
you're
the
not
same
allowed
town.
to tell him?
His dad said I am not allowed to tell him.
His dad said.
And so the supervisor will not let me tell him because of Dad saying I am not allowed to tell him.
You need to get Dad on the phone with me. You really do. Because nobody can hold me to anything. Dad needs to freaking man up and be Dad and get a little bit of reality check. And again, I'm into the guys, and this and that, but come on.
But he also told my son that the next step is that I'm not going to be his mom anymore and that his girlfriend is going to be adopting him and she's going to be his mom. That she is his mom now.
See, then Dad needs a kick in the fucking head. All right? I mean, I'm sorry. Now I'm really starting to get upset. It's like, who thinks like that? Who rationally thinks like that? Like, that's not your mom. She gave birth to you, but that's not your mom. Good or bad, if you were a drug addict, that's still your mom, whether you choose to be around her or not, that's your mom. You can't just go like, oh, you know what, this week, this is Mom. And next week, if I break up with her, it's like, don't worry about her. We got a new mom coming in. She's hot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm remarried. I've been married for for just over 5 years.
Okay.
My husband and I have been together for 7 years. I met him a year after I left my ex-husband, but it was a good 6 months before he was getting to be around my son. And even then, it was like, this is my friend, Josh. Just like he met other female guy friends of mine, he never saw us being intimate with each other for a long time. We did not start living together until we were together for a year and a half after we got engaged to get married. And then, which then at that point, obviously my son knew we were a couple because at that point, we were serious. We were engaged to get married.
Okay.
We got married, and from the beginning, my son knew that his dad was his dad. Because that was one thing my ex would always stress with him. Well, that's not your dad. I'm your dad.
That's true.
And I would always tell him. And I would tell my son, your dad is completely right.
Right. But he can still love him.
I said, now that I am married, you're blessed that you get to have a stepdad.
That's right.
I said, and if your dad gets married, because at the time he didn't have a girlfriend, that if your dad ever gets married, you're going to be super blessed because not only will you have a mom, but you're going to have a stepmom. I said, so you get to have all these people loving on you. I said, you will be so lucky.
Yeah, love is good. Can I ask you a question?
I said,
Why did you wait 32 minutes and 30 seconds to tell me that you've been married? I thought you were a single mom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I mean, I didn't know that you were married. I thought you were a single mom struggling on this whole deal. And again, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's like, tell me you got, you're remarried because all of a sudden this guy pops into the whole deal 30 minutes and 30 seconds into this whole deal. You know what I'm saying? Not
I
the,
apologize.
no, and it's okay because again, love
Right.
is the key. Love. I can't tell you enough. Today I'm sitting with my daughter, and all I know is I love her more than words can say. You know what I mean? Because I don't get to spend nearly enough time, and she's 13, and these I'm telling you, from 10 to 13, major growth, and nothing bad, but I adore her.
Right.
And this is the thing. It's like you're getting. I have a friend of mine who's the great. I mean, he's just a sweetheart guy. The dad who's still on the PTA from the middle school, even though his kids are in high school. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's got the
Yeah.
he had the bad judge that for some reason he's just giving him the worst amount of shit you could possibly ask for and doesn't deserve a single smidgen of it. And that's the same
Right.
deal. Why? And and the girl, and now his kids are seeing through all that. They're getting old enough, and they're getting it, but the problem is the ongoing joke is, well, they're going to be 18 soon, and they're going to be able to make their own choices because it goes by like that, and I hate it. But who wants to let all that precious time go? These are the days. I just told my daughter the other day. I mean, I miss her so much being a baby girl, so to speak. You know what I mean? Elementary school and back. Now she's just taken off.
I was a class parent. I went to every activity he had. I was highly involved in everything. His dad doesn't go to anything. And so now my son, when they do the jogathon, he doesn't have a parent there encouraging him.
Doesn't make a damn bit
But
of
I
sense.
understand that, especially even if you've got two parents at home, sometimes they both have to work. And there's going to be kids that don't always get to have
Sure.
their parents
You gotta
there.
work. You have
I
to.
get that.
Yeah.
But when you have an available parent, why can't they be there? Whether it's their custodial time or not, because I'm the type, and I've invited my ex to things. Say, look,
Yeah, your kid's going to be
I will
somewhere.
stand over here.
Yeah.
You can stand over there. If you don't want to stand next to me, that's fine. Your son wants us both there.
Yeah.
Come to it. And he would come, and that's when we were getting along.
Right.
We said, forget the court order about that.
Yeah.
We're getting along. Because my son was so happy when we would both show up for things.
Of course. It's like that's the I'm starting to lose my words because it's like that's the the center hub. It's like it's not screw you guys. It's like your child wants us. Like I'm doing this. Look at me. Watch me. God bless it. It just pisses me off so friggin' much. It brings me back to where I was, and I'm beyond that point now. But even then, I go to school events still, and I don't talk with my ex. She will not even look at me, and we're 3 feet away from each other, and it sucks. I feel it sucks for my daughter, even though she's pretty damn strong about it, and she goes, "It's okay."
Right.
But I do. It bothers me. It's like, stop. It's like, how freaking old are you? But
You guys, the way I look at it is, I liked this man enough to have a child with him once upon a time.
Yeah.
And if just because we fell out of love, just because whatever happened, we still have a child together. We have to be the adults, even if it's putting on a fake face for 10, 15 minutes, an hour, whatever it is. Why can't we just be civil in front of our son and do what's best? It's not like we have to see each other very much.
That's true.
It's a couple hours a month, maybe, where we have to pretend to like each other.
You don't have to pretend.
And do
You
what's
just have to
best
be
for our
cordial.
son.
You just have to be cordial. That's all you have to do. It's like, just don't, the animosity, it's like, screw it. It's about your child, not about you guys. It's like, that's the problem. It's like, that's with your ex and a lot of these guys, men or women, it's all about them with the new girlfriend. Believe me, like I said, as a joke, I just said, I can't, one of these days, I just, because my ex is just, she overthinks things way too much, and I said I'm gonna show up one day. I'm gonna show up because there's gonna be somebody in my life, and that's gonna be the new person in my life, and she's gonna freak out over it in her own mind. And it's like no big deal. It's like, what did you expect me to be, a friggin' martyr for the rest of my life? But for now, I go to my daughter's events by myself. You know what I mean? Unless there's somebody that's a friend who's been a long life friend or nothing. I don't bring daddy's new girlfriend to a school event. I just don't do that.
Right.
You're going to have to be somebody. And right now,
Yep.
I leave that out of the picture, out of respect, and so far so good. But I've seen that whole thing that you're talking about, and it's detrimental to your children. And I can't stress that enough. I tried to get people to call in to talk to you, but once again, they're watching and they'll start texting me and instant messaging me through the week. And this is probably a subject that will never end, and that's why I stand behind it. But you are just one other statistic of the same old, and it's like the question is why? Why is this happening?
Well, if anybody feels bad enough and they want to help me out, I'm willing. I'm not too proud to accept help.
How are they going to help you out?
I wish I could find an attorney who'd be willing to take on this mediator.
I know, but they won't.
Who's not going to charge me an arm and a leg?
They all look $400 an hour, or yeah, that's just the
I know.
Yeah, it's the norm. Unfortunately,
I know.
Unless you're the type of advocate, and that's the thing. My weakness was all that administrative stuff. I could not stand the filing and the this and the that. I didn't understand it. It's my weakest link, and I had to have an attorney because I didn't want to go into court unarmed. But let me tell you, most of the shit, by the time we got into court, it was all nonsense. They didn't look at half of all the money I spent doing declarations and all this crap. And, it wasn't my lawyer's fault. It really wasn't his fault. He didn't make me hire him. But it was just the way it was, and I just hate the nonsense. And there's a good interview with Steve Lukather. He's a pretty big guitarist, and I'm going to talk about him before I hang up the phone tonight, too, because there's another reason that he's in the news. But he's been married a couple of times, and a few years ago I did an interview with him. And his philosophical view, it's on YouTube, and you can go to my Peter G. Show page and watch that, and watch him, after you've been there and done that, he really gives a lot of great advice about, you need to not do that kind of shit because all you're doing is spending a bunch of money that you don't have, and you're just beating yourself up and your children, and it's just not worth it. At the end of the day, after you go through all this, you look at it and going, shit, I'm tired, and was it really worth it? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, look, unfortunately, we are out of time. I got a couple minutes left, but I do I admire your bravery for coming on and saying this is what I want to talk about, because a lot of people, as always on this show, I dream of the day where people are going to just start shouting out loud. But I'm having to pull hairs to get people to say, hey, you know what, I got something I want to talk about, and I want the world to know. And it's good because you have no idea how many people are in the exact same position as you. So thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, listen. So it's not over. Maybe we'll catch up and see how you're doing. My only thing I can tell you, again, I'm no professional. I am nobody. I'm just a guy with life experience who's, I think in my mind, it's like what dictates a professional, but I've seen enough. And all I can say is keep your head on straight, look at your child, and just all you can do is love them as much as you can. That's all you can do. Yep. Okay, and
I just treasure the 2 hours a week I get with him, and we just make the best out of it that we can right now.
That is the craziest thing. I thought some other people got it bad, and it's like that is, again, my heart goes out to you. I'm sorry.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so don't lose touch with me. Pay attention. And,
Definitely.
And again, if you got something else that it's always bugging you, my door is open. Okay.
Sounds awesome.
All right, thank you very much. I love you for coming on to the show. I appreciate you.
All right, thank you for letting me come on.
Good night, Gwen.
All right, good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Do you hear this shit, people? A woman, okay? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but she sounds like she's got her act enough together. And 2 hours a week, you get to see your friggin' child, your child that you love. 2 hours a week, and then you got to pay a supervisor to sit there and babysit your adult ass. And you're not even crazy. Blows my mind. Blows my mind. So, again, the family court system, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And maybe I'm missing something. And if I am, enlighten me. Fucking hate it. I get pissed off with this crap. I really do. It's like you got a woman who normally gets the upper hand, and he's got a father And again, we haven't talked to him. There's two sides to every coin, but I believe it. A lot of guys get new girlfriends and they're like, oh, it's your new mommy. It's like, and the kid's caught in the middle. This is where I get really pissed off because I'm all about the children. This show on Sunday nights is not my original Peter G. show, surviving divorce and single parenting show. But if you tell me, Peter, I want to talk about it, we're going to talk about it. That simple. Pisses me off. Really does. 2 hours. Somebody's got to pay. You're working all week long, and you got to pay $150 to some person to come in, and you go into a room, and you get to spend time with your child. It's like, how fucked up is that? That is and the child's like, I want to spend more time with my mom. And they're going, no, you can't, because... And it's like, why? Yeah, we don't really have an answer to that because our system's screwed. Nobody listens anymore. You need to friggin' listen. Listen to the children. Nobody's making them say anything. The cool thing about children, and most professionals understand this, is children are real. Children don't really lie. Even if they're pressured to lie, they're not good at it. And you can tell. It's a shame. Anyway, one other thing I want to touch on before I go tonight. Let's get into. I want to shift gears, all right? And I don't have. We should have music queued up. We can do that. Actually, we can, can't we? I don't have time. Tonight was the end of an era, so to speak, for a certain band in music, Toto, a band called Toto. I don't know, some people know them, some people don't know them, but I've been very, very fortunate in my life that I got to spend a lot of time. I did a lot of music with a few of them and in my past. And Toto, Africa, Weezer redid it a couple of years ago, and then all of a sudden they blew up again. They were the coolest uncool band, says a lot of people. I've always admired them because, believe me, they are the best of the best when it comes to musicians. But then again, you have to be a musician to kind of get it. I mean, there's not a slouch in that crowd. They're just over the top. No shit there. But anyway, tonight they finished up their last show after their 40th year anniversary tour, which actually is 42 years, and they called it 40 trips around the sun. They just finished up tonight in Philadelphia, and they're calling it quits. A couple of members of the band passed away over the past couple of years, actually more than a couple of years. Jeff Porcaro passed away, original drummer, which was a big core of the band. In 1992, freak accident. And then a few years ago, Mike Porcaro, his brother, loved Mikey, passed away from ALS. ALS is a nasty disease, man, and sweetheart of a guy. I spent a lot of time around with that guy and all over the world, and just, but it doesn't matter. It's like, your health and all that kind of stuff is what it is. They finished up after 42 years, and I even though this is the end, they're calling it quits. Steve Lukather said this is the end right now for a while because they toured hard. I mean, the music business is not all you think. All you see is the shiny stuff. But God bless them. After all this years, they've given us great music that's going to carry on. I'm sure, God willing, number 50, which is only 7-8 years away, there'll be a nifty 50 tour. 50 years, whatever, but right now, a well-deserved break, and they're calling it quits, but, everybody gets the urge. Ozzy has retired. Ozzy Osbourne, he's retired like 40,000 times, but, there's always that. You can do it. That's the beauty of life. You can always, as long as you're waking up, you can come back and do what you want to do. But anyway, I wish I was in Philadelphia. A lot of memories. I've been fortunate enough to share a lot of experiences with a lot of people having to do with that whole organization, and a lot of music, and I'm very thankful. But God bless you guys, Toto and Steve Lukather. He's on my YouTube. If you want to see a great interview, Steve Lukather, Greg Fillinganes, okay? Even though he replaced David Pace for a while, because David Pace, the original keyboard player, which was really how I got started with those guys, because of David Pace. David, he's up there too, and but Greg Fillinganes replaced him for a while he was having some things he had to take care of, family business and stuff. And Greg Fillinganes, great interviews about love, surviving divorce, single parenting, the whole deal. Go to the YouTube page and check all that stuff out. There we go. And but Steve Lukather was gracious enough to a couple of years ago as well, and give me an interview for you guys and just talk about surviving divorce and single parenting. And again, it's not about just telling his story. Steve's a nut, okay? But he's a smart nut. And I've been in some situations with him that ups and downs, but I'm telling you, his philosophical view over the whole deal, worth the watch, people. Even Gwen that just called here, I strongly suggest you watch that show, hour and 40 minutes or whatever, because it really does help when you shed a light on things. It really does help. And that's why we do this show. It's like sharing stories, because what you might be going through now, there's somebody else that's already been through it, and they've kind of like cut the path. And you can probably choose another path and go, and veer off onto your own and try to figure it out. But if you listen to a few of these people, it might help you to shorten the journey to success, to peace, and within yourself. Because I'm telling you, it takes a piece away from you. This stuff is horrific. I feel bad. I always do. It just never ends with me. Anyway, but Toto tonight finishing up their last date of a 2.5 year 40 trips around the sun tour, and calling it quits for now. And I just think that it's a well-deserved hiatus, but I don't know. You know what I mean? If you have the opportunity to do a 45th anniversary, it's probably too soon, but if they come back for a 50th anniversary, they'll kill it again. And that's it. You've been watching The Peter G Show, Life with Peter G, here live on Facebook. Again, I apologize for not being able to stream live on my official page. That is the most asinine, retarded-sounding statement, but it is what it is, because it's beyond my control. It's going to get streamed right back onto that page as soon as we get off the air here. They can share it, but let me know how you're feeling. And all you people and all you men and women that keep telling me how you want to call in, shame on you. You had a woman here that you could have talked to her, and it's like once again you don't call in. I'm going to take that number away, and it's like, well, just talk. I'll do interviews again like I used to. I was giving you the opportunity to call in. I'm not a good quitter, but it's like, what the hell you got to hide? It's like, just call the number. You can say, I'm Joe, I'm Jane, and I want to talk about this, okay? Not a big deal. Love you guys more than anything, all right? So let's go. Anything we're going to close out with? Don't forget, this show cannot be possible without Bolt Energy. Bolt Energy, electrify your senses, no preservatives, enriched with antioxidants and vitamins, and ask for it in stores. If you can't find it, go to www.drinkboltenergy, and they will tell you where you can find Bolt Energy, all right? I'm going to take my last sip of the evening. I can't believe how fast time flies, all right? Love you more than anything. We'll see you next week. Next week, I think I know what I'm talking about next week, but I'm going to wait until we get into the week, and then we'll start telling you about it. But just pay attention, all right? Love you more than anything. Let's go. All right, see you later.
Peter G Show. Peter G Show. Peter G Show. Peter G Show. Divorce Dad.